Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 111 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. That's really going to include many different revelations and saga-wide implications that's going to change how we view the past 8 Star Wars movies. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that, yes, we do know that this movie is going to contain many different twists and turns as well as surprises in the movie. Now, Eunice Watama, the man who portrays Chewbacca himself in the sequel movies, even said that this entire movie is a "I did not see this coming" moment. And that, to me, is a big, bold statement of what they're trying to do in Episode 9, is that they really are trying to make this movie a revelation film at the end of the day. Now, JJ, he aims to make this the darkest Star Wars film to date, not just that, holding also a lot of prequel trilogy connections and references. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the big plans by Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and George, this is where things begin to get very intense for Episode 9. Now, specifically, it's described that during the rewrites of the film for the months of November and December of 2018 is when George Lucas was significantly involved with the rewriting of the second and third acts of the film, where it said that he adjusted many parts of the story while also including more prequel trilogy connections. It's described that one of the scenes that are planned for reshoots, which stretch on until September of 2019, include a sequence in which J.J. Abrams and George have a plan in place to use Hayden Christensen to do involved voiceover work for one of Rey's missions to the Lost City, where Anakin would guide Rey during her meditation in the Lake of Dreams. It's explained that the dialogue by Hayden as Anakin would include revelations about the origins of the galaxy and the light side of the Force that will change how fans view many pieces of Star Wars lore under the Disney canon. Now, it said that also they plan for Hayden Christensen to appear as a young Force ghost with a different design that's how, in comparison to how he was used at the very end of Return of the Jedi, to give fans something very familiar yet new to the audience. It said that Daisy already shot her scenes for the Lost City, and that all the sound recording sessions and visual effects are currently being added in. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, what's really exciting about the Lost City, in case you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, there is going to be a location in The Rise of Skywalker that will indeed include the basic, ancient Jedi and Sith ruins underneath the surface of an unknown world somewhere over in the Outer Rim. And that's a very interesting thing, is that they do in fact have a plan in place for Hayden Christensen to come back for the role of Anakin Skywalker in this vital scene in which he is going to guide Rey as she is inside of the Lake of Dreams, where he's going to unveil new truths about the origins of the galaxy and the light side of the Force as well. Not only that, they plan to redesign the younger version of Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost, giving fans a different version of the young version of Anakin's Force Ghost. And that, to me, I think is a big risk by Disney and Lucasfilm, of course, messing around with the design that we got at the very end of Return of the Jedi. However, it could very well be a minor change for all we know. At the same exact time, it could be that they're going to slick back his hair, or maybe just change his face a bit here and there, or maybe even a different costume at that. Now, with Episode 9, we do know that this film is going to have a lot of different twists and turns that's also going to change not just Star Wars lore, but the entire Star Wars franchise. J.J. Abrams is essentially using, of course, The Rise of Skywalker as a baseline, if you will. He's using it as a foundation to really introduce new types of Star Wars lore that fans have never seen before on the big screen, that's really going to stand on its own and build towards something more magical as we go throughout the 2020s to the new Star Wars trilogy. So Disney and Lucasfilm, they do have a lot of plans in place. They really are treating this movie with special care in order to really make it the best film possible that's actually going to stand on its own away from both The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. And that, to me, I think is a very interesting thing about Episode 9, is the fact that, well, we do know that this movie is going to really deliver when it comes to the prequel trilogy connections. Like I've said before in the past, there are going to be parallels, yes, there are also going to be references as well. But on top of all of that, we're going to have direct connections just like this with Anakin's Force Ghost, portrayed by Hayden Christensen, as well as certain locations, certain environments that will be introduced in the flash fights, such as Naboo, Mustafar, you name it. And I think that's very inspiring by JJ. I think it's very ambitious of him to do something to such an extent where you're acknowledging the prequel trilogy era, which Disney and Lucasfilm really didn't do too much in The Force Awakens at all, and only slightly touched on it in, of course, The Last Jedi, where Luke mentioned Darth Sidious and something around those lines. So with that being said, guys, I will say that I'm very excited about everything here related to Episode 9 and what they plan to do to end the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga, especially everything related to the Lost City. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.